Project communications and leadership. Communication is the process of conveying information and meaning. True communication only takes place when all parties understand the message. Communication is one of the most critical elements for project success and has a direct effect on the results and impact the project is aiming to achieve. As a project leader, your ability to communicate will not only have a direct impact on the success of your projects, but an impact on your career. Here are some definitions from the leading organizations on project management. The APM defines communication as giving, receiving, processing, and interpretation of information. And the PMI defines communication as the process required to ensure proper collection and dissemination of project information. Both definitions focus on communication as a process. Communication is fundamental to the project environment. Poor communications can lead to many problems that may cause a project to fail. Among the most critical problems are unclear goals and expectations, low motivation and morale in the team, costly mistakes and delays, and limited support from stakeholders. It is for these reasons that communication is one of the key roles and responsibilities of the project leader. Not only because the project leader represents the project and is the most visible face of the project to key stakeholders, but because he is in a leadership position that enables him to communicate effectively. An important responsibility of the project leader is to ensure that all the stakeholders have a clear understanding of the project scope and its goals. Lack of communication can result in stakeholders having different expectations about the project. This is important especially for project beneficiaries. If their expectations are not the same, they will not feel the project was able to meet their needs. Even with the project team, when they are not clear about the goal of the project, the work they do will not help achieve it. Lack of proper communication can lead to low motivation and morale in the project team. This happens when there is confusion about the roles and responsibility of members in the team. This situation can also lead to conflicts and duplication of efforts. Good communication ensures that everyone in the team has a good understanding of their roles and responsibilities and how they will collaborate with each other. Poor communications can lead to costly mistakes and delays in delivering the project outcomes with significant consequences to the project beneficiaries. This can happen when project plans and their modifications are not properly communicated. Change is a constant in development projects. When plans do not reflect the approved changes, teams, vendors, or partners will deliver the wrong outputs, which can lead to costly rework and delays in the schedule. The project is in constant need of support from internal and external stakeholders. Without the support, the project can be limited in what it's trying to achieve. Stakeholders with a strong influence and power on the project can provide access to resources, approve actions, and even speak in favorable terms on behalf of the project. Poor communications will limit the ability of the project leader to build the correct level of engagement and support from key stakeholders. Communication is one of the main roles and responsibilities of the project leader. As a communicator, the project leader provides relevant and timely information to project stakeholders who also need it to make important decisions about the project. There are four important functions in this role: to inform, to report, to market, and to learn. Informing. To inform includes the distribution of information to help stakeholders understand the project. The objective is to ensure there is a common understanding of what the project is, what it will achieve, and how it will achieve it. Differences in understanding lead to confusion and lack of support, and in some extreme cases, it can lead to resistance to the project. The project leader, as communicator, must explain the project in simple terms that all the stakeholders, especially beneficiaries, build a good understanding of the project. Reporting. Stakeholders need to know the status of the project in order to understand its progress and continued support. The report is more than just a presentation of numbers showing what the project did. It's a description of where the project is compared to the plans. including the actions taken to manage the issues and risks the project has discovered, and the solutions the project team proposes to keep the project on track. It's also a strategy to increase the transparency of the project. Marketing. In this role, the goal is to raise awareness and build the stakeholder support by explaining why the project is important. In this situation, communication is focused on marketing the project to beneficiaries, partners, local authorities, and communities, and explain how the project will be able to meet the needs of beneficiaries. In this role, the project leader markets the project to increase its visibility among other initiatives that may also be competing for the same resources, support, or participation from beneficiaries. Learning. Communication is not a one-way process. The exchange of information allows for opportunities where the project leader can learn more about the beneficiaries and key stakeholders, and learn about the opinions, attitudes, concerns, and experiences from the various stakeholders that are also communicating with the project. A couple of things to keep in mind about communication and your role as a project leader. Communication is not a constant, it is dynamic and constantly changing. Communication is not linear, it's circular. Effective communication simultaneously send and receive messages. Communication is complex, as it involves more than just one person and involves the negotiation of shared interpretation and understanding of the message. Communication is irreversible. You cannot just erase the message you sent, and that is why it's important to carefully plan your message before you send it. An effective project leader will spend about 80% of his or her time communicating, and 50% of that time will be spent communicating with the project team. That means the project leader spends 20% of his or her time doing transactional based activities needed to control the project. The other 80% of the time is spent on transformational type activities, which are associated with leadership and delivery of the project, which requires communication. Communicating project information among stakeholders is critical to the success of the project and uses many different means. A project leader will use communication to ensure the project team works together on project problems and opportunities and ensure stakeholders have a good understanding of the project. Leadership is about influencing others, and it's done through communication. Leadership is also about building relationship, which is also based on communications. There is a strong relationship between communications competency and leadership performance. Leadership is a communication-based activity. Project leaders will spend much of their time shaping the messages that are then presented to a variety of stakeholders, each with its own unique needs and frames of reference. The more leadership responsibilities you have in the project, the more your job will be focused on communications.